Hey guys, Caleb here, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to separate the snow goose from the Ross's goose. Both of these birds are migrating south for the winter and might be in cornfields near you, so it really pays to know how to separate these two similar looking goose species. So let's get into it. So first off, the snow goose is just a larger bird than the Ross's goose. The snow goose has a wingspan of about 54 inches, sometimes a little larger depending on the bird, while the average wingspan of the Ross's goose is around 44 inches. So even in the field, it is noticeable that the snow goose is slightly larger than the Ross's goose. So if they're all together in a field, you can generally tell just by size alone, but there are a few other field marks that make this a lot easier. First, we have head shape. So on the head of the snow goose, it looks a little bit flatter at the top compared to the round head of the Ross's goose. Also, the neck of the snow goose is going to be longer than the shorter, stubbier neck of the Ross's goose. And so this can be a great clue, especially when they're side by side. The Ross's goose just looks like a smaller, cuter version of the snow goose. So next, bill shape is a really good way to separate these two goose species. So on the snow goose, you see we got a pretty large bill, while on the Ross's goose, it's a lot smaller and more of a stubbier triangle shape. Also, if we look at the snow goose, we can see it's got this black grin patch, while the Ross's goose just doesn't really have that. So that can also be a good way to separate them. Before we move on, I wanted to let you know about the Better Birders community. Inside of this community, you get tons of courses, itineraries, and bird identification cheat sheets. There's courses like Birding for Beginners, so if you're new to birding, that is the course that you want to start with. Or maybe you've been birding for a while now and you want to find more birds. Inside the Finding Birds course, you're going to find tons of incredible strategies for finding more birds every single time you go out birding. The cheat sheets are just two birds that look very similar, and then all of the different ways to separate them all laid out very clearly on a sheet for you to quickly reference. So if you see a finch at your bird feeder and you're not sure if it's a house finch or a purple finch, look at the cheat sheet real quick and you'll be able to tell within minutes. Right now you can get a special founders discount for only $5 a month, and you lock that price in for life. The price is going to go up as I continue to add more stuff into this community, so make sure you jump in right now. I will say the majority of the time these two geese have this white plumage here, but there is a thing called blue morphs. They're not quite as common and they're a lot more rare in the Ross's goose, but basically these white feathers are just going to look a little bit more bluish compared to their usual plumage. Really isn't a whole lot of confusion there when it comes to identifying the species. All of the main field marks are going to be the same because we're looking at like the bill and the shape of things and not the colors. You don't really have to worry about a whole lot there. Now when they're flying, the Ross's goose is going to look smaller, not only because it is smaller, but also just because its neck is shorter. So that kind of gives it a more compact silhouette in flight, which can be really helpful for separating them in flight because you're not necessarily going to be able to look at like their bill shape and length. So you're going to have to rely on some different ways to identify them. Now if we look at the range, here's the range map of the snow goose, then here's the range map of the Ross's goose. So the Ross's goose does have a little bit smaller of a range technically. Now their density within that range is going to be a lot less than the snow goose. The snow goose is a lot more common throughout its entire range. Ross's goose is typically not found in giant flocks like the snow geese. They typically like to flock with snow geese, but there's definitely not going to be a ton of individuals in that flock. So as you can see, both goose species do breed up on the Arctic tundra and then migrate south for the winter. Now, they do mix in flocks, and just as a general rule, snow geese are really always more common in those mixed flocks than the Ross's goose is. Now, this also brings up the point, if you happen to see a flock of snow geese, definitely pay attention because there could be a few Ross's geese mixed in. You're going to have to look kind of closely, especially if they're far away, but you can occasionally find some Ross's goose, which is always fun. If you like this bird versus bird format, go and check out the playlist on your screen for all of the other types of these videos that I've made. I think it's a really good way to up your bird identification skills and become better at identifying these tricky bird species. So go and check it out. I'll see you there.